Yes. So I think like in today's session we'll be discussing about like how to build a marketing agency from scratch. So it can be anything. It's just not marketing. I guess last time we had someone who's also building their own web development agency and stuff. So this you can have this as a base and then build any type of agency that you want to build. And this framework is something that I've been following for about 4 to 5 years now. And even all my friends pretty much have the same framework. So that's what we'll be doing today. So the number one step here is actually to do market research. A lot of people, I think, don't really do this and take this seriously. Like why market research is important? Like you have to understand your target audience to tailor like better strategies and services. So I think a very typical example. So when me and her started Limelight, which is like a healthcare marketing company that we're doing right now. Uh, we had something else in mind that I'm a growth hacker, so we took in growth hacking into healthcare marketing. But at the end of the day, we kind of felt like not a lot of hospitals actually need growth hacking, and they don't really welcome the growth hacking services that we were trying to pitch. Then we pivoted, into coming up with specific personal branding services for doctors and also other type of digital marketing to retain patients and also to increase patient flow. So I think the first step, actually, everybody out here who's getting into marketing has to figure out who's the audience that are targeting to, and what are the services that you can pitch. I think I can even just show you like what we did. So I think you can see my screen. So this is actually my drive. So we have a folder called the business clarity. So this is like a homework that me and Harsh did. So like the first document, we kind of figured out like what are the different problems that is being faced by clinics and healthcare, like hospitals. I mean here. So we noted down all the problems, and out here, like how do you actually figure out the problem is, you can either first talk to people in the industry. So I had some, couple of my doctor friends who connected, with me with their parents who are doctors. So we talked to them. Then I also spoke to my dad who was in the healthcare industry. And if not, if you don't have anybody, I think ChatGPT is something that would give you the basics, right? So make sure you identify what are the problems being faced by your industry. And then the second document that we did was building an ideal customer profile. So I think this is like the first session that we had on the fundamentals of marketing. We made sure that we deep dive and understood what are the depth of our customer profile. Like I think this is like the first level we digged into, like what do they do, how do they spend their week, what do they do outside of work, where do they actually get their news. And then this is like a pretty depth document that we prepared. So I think I can give you access to these questions. I will just give you access via a word file over and drop it on WhatsApp for you guys to actually try to do this exercise for yourself. And then what we did was like, what are the type of messaging that we can basically talk to these audience. That's something that we did. So we had our own hypothesis, like first version that we built. Then we spoke to a lot of people. Like this is like a sentence that this is like an offer that we have. I help hospitals and clinics get high quality patients via data driven growth hacking within 90 days. This was our first iteration that we did. Then we kept changing it, and I think we are almost in the fifth version right now. So, and then we had like another document which is point of different worksheet, like trying to understand what are other providers in the current market doing, and how basically we can be different to pitch our service in a different way. That's something that we did. And I think at last we did something called as a smart market diagnosis question, which would actually help us to understand our market better. So I hope you understand that we almost did. I think we spent 2 to 3 hours, brainstorming with ChatGPT. We also spent time together. So making sure you understand your market, before you actually do anything is very important. So even I can give you like a couple of more examples. We had one of our client when I was in Bangalore. Like we were working with a company called Genie. It's a food aggregator platform. Like it's like an app, like Swiggy and Zomato. So what we did to understand the market was, me and my friend who was working in this project, We personally went to at least 20 different restaurants in Bangalore. We went, knocked their doors, spoke to the manager to understand what is the problem that exactly they have, and is our service actually solving the problem or not. So making sure that you get your market research right is very, very important. And this is like the first step that you have to do before even you try to build your agency, or before even you try to, build your, freelancing business. Making sure that your market research is right is something that's very important. So I'll be, giving up all the questions that you guys can basically do it, over on the WhatsApp group. And this is something I think everybody debate every day. So why is niching down better? And I think a lot of my friends, who are in the similar industry says that, you don't have to be niching down your services. And I've been niching down my services quite a long. So I think this is something that I really want to tell you, and I don't know if you know, there is somebody called as Himanshu Agarwal who is into like consulting businesses, and I have taken his help and we did this exercise together. He made me understand why niching down is better. So first thing, when you tell like you are just working with one particular industry, you try to become like an authority in that space, because you spend more time in the industry. You learn more, you'll talk to a lot of people, and you would try to know what are the different problems that the industry is facing. The more time you spend, the more expertise that you gain, and you'll automatically build like an audience list. Even if like for example today, I went on fields in Trichy. So we did field business development. I went almost to 12 to 15 hospitals, and then we had a couple of meetings booked. But at the end of the day, like even though I had only a couple of meetings booked, but I had connects of almost 12 hospitals. So you automatically build a list of audience to whom you can build products in the future. So right now, if you like I am just working in healthcare. So the more time I spend, I would know what are the different problems that every hospital is facing, and that can't be solved by just other service. So I know what are the products that I can develop in the future to solve it. So I already have a list for it. And word of mouth marketing works the best, because obviously, anybody in that industry would have a lot of connections and network to leverage in their own industry. So word of mouth works the best. And at the end of the day, if you want to niche down further and then get into building coaching or consulting services, you can obviously sell it again to these audiences. So even even when we started it, we kind of felt like not everybody was able to afford our service. So what we did was we started consulting them, and we were also giving them coaching services, which they were able to start initially. So you would open doors to a lot of opportunities when you become an authority and expert in one particular industry. So basically, you guys can, the first step, as I said, is to get the market research right. And the second step, think about niching down. It's not like you have to do it and then only then start. You can just, start your service without niching it down, and then you try to understand how different market works, and then you figure out, okay, this is something that I want to do, and then you can niche down. And step two, obviously, is client acquisition. So a lot of things, we also have been doing. I think we are in the market for about 4 to 5 months now. And the first initial step that everybody has to do is create a lead magnet. So let me just quickly, share my LinkedIn and show you guys. So you can see here, like, this is the lead magnet that we created. So once you land in my, profile, you'll see like this thing, which is like a lead magnet, a 60-day blueprint for exponential patient traffic, which is like an ebook that anybody in my industry, like in healthcare space, who's having their own clinic, can download and try to understand how to get patient traffic. So the first step is to actually build a lead magnet. It can be an ebook, it can be like a free course, in which you give free value to the audience. In return, they give you their phone number, email ID, whatever that you want. So by doing this, you automatically build an email list, and then you can sell a lot of things, and also nurture, build awareness, and also build connections with your audience on a personal level. Just a second. Yeah. And how do you actually reach out to clients is you can start reaching out to them on Instagram. Second, you can do is on LinkedIn. The third way is cold emailing. Fourth way is field sales. So I think that is okay. Yeah, field sales. And the last thing that I did was also podcast. So these are different ways in which you can start reaching out to client. Uh, I think I want to show you like a small example that we did. So this is like a first this was for my first agency that I built. It was into it was into sports and fitness industry. And I didn't have a lot of money to put in ads, or also didn't have a lot of time to basically sit down and create content. So what we did was, we brainstormed together, and then, my co-founder back then, we kind of found out that we'll start a podcast. So what we did, we went on to LinkedIn and found people like sports person who has like a business at the back end, which is also into sports and fitness. And I interviewed about, I think we did about how many episodes? Yes, we did about 16 episodes. And out of this, 15 people to whom I spoke, 6 people are my clients, and they referred me to almost 4 or 5 people in their network, which gave me like a strong foundation and base for my agency that I was building back then. So making sure that you try different strategies is something you can do, which obviously takes a lot of time. So I think you have two leverages: either you have to spend your time, or either you have to spend your money. So here I chose to spend my time because I didn't have a lot of money back then. So this strategy kind of worked really best for us. But I think down the line we'll try to discuss each steps in depth, probably in the coming sessions that we'll be having this month. So these are different ways, basically, you can try to understand how to acquire clients. In the coming session, I think we'll just have one particular session in which we deep dive into each of this topic, and then we try to understand how to acquire clients in a more strategic way rather than giving you like an overview right now. Step 3 here is legal and financial setup. So as a freelancer, there are not a lot of restrictions, but when you want to build like your own agency, there are a lot of restrictions and laws that they have to follow. The first thing is registering your business entity. So back then, when I started my first agency, it was a private limited company, and also the one that we run right now is also a private limited company. But private limited company comes with a lot of work that you have to do. But you can start with proprietorship, or like limited, I think it's called limited liability partnership, LLPs. So these are different registrations that you can do, and it wouldn't cost you much. So this is a website that anybody is wanting to register, you can go to wakilsearch.com. So these guys basically register your business. It's completely online. They'll just you just have to talk to somebody. You'll have an account manager, and everything will be done. So you have a business setup here. You can just go here and then make an account. I think for us, when we registered as a private limited entity, it costed us about just 7,000. If we have done it outside, it would have costed us around like 15-20. But just because these guys do everything in bulk, it's like affordable for us as well. So consider this, guys. I think our company just got registered in almost like 20-25 days, and everything was taken care by them. So this is like an easy solution that you can have. So make sure that you have your basics right before you actually go all in. And second thing is GST registration. So there are two things here. So if you're building service businesses and your turnover in that financial year is less than 20 lakhs, it's not mandatory that you should have a GST registration. But but if you exceed more than that, GST registration is compulsory. And in all the service based businesses, we have 18% GST, which is paid by the client that you're working with to the to the government. So that's something that has to be said. You also have to get a GST registration done. I think it would cost you roughly about $1,500 to $2,500. You can, get it done from like a local auditor that you know, or probably just use Vakil Search to get it done. And the third thing is, onboarding a CA, or like, onboarding like an account person. So as a private limited company, uh, I actually have to, onboard like a CA firm into mine for them to take care of all the financials. But starting out with, LLC, which is limited liability partnership or like proprietorship, you don't have to onboard like a full-time CA. You can do your own accounts and profit and loss book sheets, and you can just get a CA to just file it. So making sure that your legal and financial setup is sorted is something that you have to start thinking about when you want to build an agency seriously. So when you're just starting out and experimenting it, I wouldn't recommend registering a business entity and stuff. So I think you can have like in a buffer of making around 2 to 3 lakhs. If you cross that, making sure that you have everything set would leverage you to attract and get the right opportunities, because companies want to work with agencies who have the legal and financial setup sorted, because like it's also good for them. So and it also increases the trust factor when you're trying to pitch. So make sure that your setup is sorted. And number four is actually building your first team. So I think when it comes to marketing agencies, making sure that you have an account manager. You have account manager is somebody who handles that particular social media account, uh, or any type of account. And then creative manager is someone who handles all the creatives in that has to be out, like in social media performance marketing. We need that person. And SEO and performance is two different verticals that you have to focus on. These are the key people that you should have. And but I think you don't really have to think about hiring on the first place. So what I did when I built my first ever agency when I was like 18 was I started getting in people on commission basis. Like for example, if I'm making like 100 rupees, I would pay 20 rupees to that, a content writer who's helping me with content. I would pay like 20 rupees to graphic designer who's getting my creatives done. So making sure that you build the first set of team who's ready to work with you on commission basis. That's something that you can try. I think everybody who's starting out would be interested, because once you get business, you get paid. It's not like you have to pay that person month on month even when a business is not running. So making sure that you have a commission based first team who can put it up together to work, that's something that you can do. And once you start scaling, you can start hiring. The third thing is you can outsource your projects to other agencies like you, who have like a full-fledged team, and tell them that out of 100 rupees that I earn, I'll give you 50 rupees. If you get, you can just get done all of my work, and rest 50 is my profit. So these are the three different ways you can try to figure out and build your first team. So, but I think the first step is actually, if I could just understand and see what I have done in my journey, the first step is commission based, making sure that you build your first set of team who's okay with commission based incentives. And the second set, you try to outsource your whole project to other agency whose foundation is set. And the third is actually when you start hiring people. So this is how you build your first set of team. And number three is like you have to try to understand what's the service that you want to pitch and the offer to sell. So this one book is something that I would recommend everybody out here who's wanting to build your own freelancing business or your own marketing agencies to read. It's called 100 Million Offers by Alex Hormozi. It's like a brilliant book. It will tell you basically, like, you can see how to make offers so good people feel stupid saying no. So this is like a brilliant book that you guys have to read. So the first thing is actually try to understand what are the different services that you want to create. Like here you can see it's packaging services is something that adds a lot of benefits to the agency as it's cost effective. Uh, so that's something that you can try to figure out. and coming up with a value proposition, like what it is that the client is going to achieve if she or he is going to spend that amount of money to us. So making sure that a value proposition is right. And third thing is pricing your offers. So I think when it comes to pricing, I think I missed it out on this presentation, but when it comes to pricing, make sure that it's not making sure, but just like how we do it. And also I read this on a couple of books. When you're starting out, like make sure you price your service a little bit less than the market charges are on the market charges, for you to actually learn a lot of things. Because when you start building, you would think that you know a lot of things, but actually when you just be there in the market and tell it out, you would know that you don't know a lot of things. You have to try to understand, and a lot of learnings would be done. So I would say, like, just pick 5 clients below the market price, and then just charge them for the first 3 months, and then charge them the market price. And once you start seeing results, make sure that you charge the actual amount that you want to get paid. And also, I think when they start referring you to the other people, you basically price them the offer that's valid for you. So that's how pricing works. So you start with charging below the means, and then you go to the market price. And when these people start referring you to the other people, you actually give them the actual price that you want to pitch. And then slowly you start increasing the retain fee of the clients that you started below the market price after they start seeing results. So that's something that you can do. And also making sure that you have a sales funnel sorted, like develop a sales funnel to guide potential clients from initial contact to sale. And this could be like a lead magnet, a serious lead nurturing emails, and final sales pitch. So usually what happens when when I start when I do business development, the first step is actually making sure that we get them on a call. The first step is called discovery call, in which we try to basically tell what we do, and also try to understand what they do, and the problems that they currently are facing. And then the second call that we do is we build a marketing strategy on top of all the problems that they're facing, and we pitch in the service and the offer with the pricing. And the third call is when we start talking about negotiation and stuff, and usually it ends in the fourth or fifth call for us. So when you're closing the deal, make sure that you have compelling case studies, testimonials, and a strong call to action to close the deal. So this is something you don't have to worry when you're starting out. When you're starting out, that's why I said when you you know how you start getting testimonials is basically when you charge less than the market value. And also you can if you're not yet confident, you can work with people for free to get testimonials when you're starting out. So when you do this, you automatically start getting testimonials, and down the line you could just use this testimonial to get bigger clients. And that's how you do. The step 6 is setting up the SOPs. So this is very important. SOPs ensure consistency and quality across all projects. Key components here you can see is after a client has signed the contract, after the client has agreed, so what are the contracts that has to be sent? So usually, when it's a marketing agency, we send, NDA, we send them the official contract. Uh, and then we also send them like an onboarding form in which they have to fill in a couple of questionnaires. So that, and then how do you actually do client onboarding? Like on the first call, you call it client onboarding, and then you get the password, you get the access to their website. If they have like a WordPress site, you can get the access to that. If they have already have like a Meta account set up, can get access to that. So what are the onboarding things that has to be covered? Has to be properly noted down, so that you do this repeatedly to any client that's coming up. And then project management, like when are we going to deliver? Probably, like, for example, let's take that you are doing social media marketing services for like an e-commerce company which sells pickles online. So after they have onboarded, when are you going, like, what's the first week? So basically, like, what are the things that has to be done on the first week, Like you note down, I'd be delivering, 2 copies of social media, and by Wednesday I would be giving you the creative, and then you would probably have a day time to review it, so that if you say it's bad, we'll rework on it, and if you say it's good, we make sure that we pile it up to post it. So when you start, the first week is actually when you try to talk to the client and try to understand uh, what are the different timelines that you can set. Making sure that you stick to the timelines is very important. So that's something that has to be sorted out. And how are we going to tackle the reporting? So we usually do reporting once in 15 days, which is twice a month. So making sure that your reports are sent, making sure that the project management is, sorted is very important. So when you're starting out, you can, use Google Sheets to do project management. But when you just, start making sure that you have a very big client and you are also scaling, you had about 4 to 5 clients, I would suggest you to use a project management software, which would give you like a lot of idea. Uh, so we use something called as Asana, in which I think we can explore. There are a lot of tools. We use Asana. There are tools like Trello. It's something that we used in the previous company. So you can, figure out and come up and choose any tool that would basically help you guys sort this process. So making sure that your project management process is smooth is very important, because onboarding a client takes a lot of energy, a lot of time. But losing a client is very easy if you don't deliver what you promised. So making sure that the process is smooth has to be very important, because retaining a client is, usually easy, because you just have to just keep doing the work that has to be done. But what are the works that takes to onboard one particular client? Just making sure that you have client onboarding, project management, reporting sorted is something that's very important. And also you can start adding a lot of tools to your process. Like as I said, Asana is something that we use, and a lot of tools are coming in the markets right now. So just make sure that you set up the SOPs right. And at last, I think not everybody does it, is you have to basically have your own social media presence, online presence, I mean. Make sure that you have a very good website. So if you don't want to invest in a website, you can just start building, landing pages. Have a landing page, and then you have an offer there, and that's something that you can build. Make sure that you're active on social medias. Make sure that you start talking about your service, because you just have to be the world's #1 selfless promoter for your own product, because nobody else will. Make sure that you talk to everybody about your product is very important. So I think we're just about the end of this presentation, and we have covered all the 7 steps that we have to do to build an agency from scratch. The first step is, coming up with the market research. The second step, is client acquisition. The third step is sorting your legal and financial setup. The fourth step is how to build your first ever team. And the fifth step is coming up with the offer to sell, and as well as the service to sell. And at step 6, we have setting up the SOPs. And at step 7, we have making sure that we are setting up the online presence.
Also, you spoke about Asana and Trello.
Yeah.
So, how does can you perhaps show how it
I think I had a dummy profile. Just give me a sec. Yes, I got it. I had a dummy. I'll just show you guys this. So, can you see my screen? Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So this is like, something that we did. So this is how the view of Asana would look. Here, for example, let me just create like a new project. So you just have to create blank, and then, for example, imagine that you're onboarding Anjapur restaurant. It's like an example that I'm giving you. Anjapur, hotel for social media marketing. You can go here, and then you can click board, and then click continue. Go to projects. So what happens here is, what are the different tasks that has to be done will be here. Like for example, the first task is to create social media Facebook page. It's like the first task that has to be done. The second task can be, creating all the creatives for week 1. So like this, you would have like a set of tasks, like 5 to 10 different tasks for that particular client when you onboard. So here, when you're building a team, you have this option here to assign the task. You can click here and try to assign to the people that you want to do. Like you can see Harsh here. So if I click, he'll get an email that he has to create the Facebook page on probably before 19th of September. So you get a due date here. So if you just do this over a meeting and then probably just talk, no, everybody would probably forget because we're all human being at the end of the day. We're not perfect every time. So make sure that everything is documented on the to-do list. So once if Harsh, imagine there's this Harsh dashboard and he's got a message. So when Harsh is, starts working on the Facebook page, he would change it to in progress. So now I would get an email that Harsh has started working on this project. Okay, now I know. I will also have a relief that okay, Harsh is doing it. And then when Harsh completes it, he will put it here and then mark it complete. So that task is done and sorted. So when you click here, you would have all the tasks. For example, imagine Harsh has done the project. Let's just take the link of this is like, all the details he has in this page. He would tell me like, hey Aishwarya, so he'll just tag me here. Like, hi, so he'll just tag Aishwarya name is here. He'll tag. Please check this. And then he'll put in the link here and then comment it. Now I'll get an email that Harsh has done it and he has mentioned me that he wants some review. So everything is sorted. You don't have to do this manually because when you do it manually, you miss out on a lot of things. So this would give you like a top of like when you come to this dashboard, you know what are the things that has to be done and what are the works that is in progress and what are the works that is completed. So once Harsh has completed the work, I know that things are done. Then I would send it to client for approval and a lot of other things would be done. And I think you can use the free version of it when you're starting out, and down the line you can upgrade it. I think it costs almost $1,000 a month. I'm not really sure. Yeah, I think it's somewhere close to that. Yeah, that's like an overview of Asana.
And regarding the SEO specialist, you also mentioned about performance specialist. So, what does a performance specialist mean?
He handles Facebook ads and Google ads. Someone who does performance marketing.
So, basically, SEO and performance marketing like specialist would be ideally the same role.
No, SEO is completely different. Performance is completely different. So SEO, there is content, which is one side where you write, blogs, do keyword research and stuff, and the other set is where they create all the backlinks so that you start ranking for that particular thing. So SEO is all about making sure that you start ranking on the first or second page of Google, like you have all the numbers and links, right? That's SEO. And performance marketing is someone who runs ads using Meta or Google. You would have seen like Facebook ads, popping out on your Facebook feed or Instagram reels. All that is done by performance marketer. So these two things are different domains here.